Hello, everyone. I am Scott Edwards of Fightful here, and today I am with Stardom's Xena. Xena, welcome. How are you doing today? Well, it's night for you. Today for
It's
me.
night. It's almost my bedtime. I'm good. How are you, Scott?
I'm doing great. I'm happy to finally get the chance to talk to you. Obviously, we've been trying to make this work. You're very busy. Obviously, you have a lot of matches every week, and you're coming off the 5-star Grand Prix in August. So, and you just main evented Korakuen Hall. So, you've been kind of
Right.
busy.
Korakuen Hall match was like it was like for a gaijin to main event Korakuen is like a big thing because I don't think it's like handed so easily to like gaijins to like main event that place. So when I got like the option to main event, I was like, whoa, like who would have thought? If you told me 2 years ago I'll be main eventing in Korakuen, I'll be like laughing at you.
I know. I mean, I was gonna ask you about that because like you've main evented Korakuen, you obviously main evented Yogi earlier this year against Micah for the world title.
That was like 2 monsters, 2 like coffees in, like, and being the main event at such a late show, it was just like waiting for the match to actually happen. So I've like warmed up, I've done all the like things I need to do, and I'm just like sitting and waiting. Like, okay, I'm nervous, but like I want to go. Let's go. Let's hit the shit.
Yeah, like you make such a great point because obviously the Korakuen, and I think this is just like something that maybe fans don't realize. The Korakuen's early in the day. We were talking about this before we press record. Early in the day, you're kind of just waiting, getting yourself ready. While the match against Micah, you're waiting all day. It's the world title, and so much had happened on that show to begin with. Stardom the conversion.
So much happened on that show. I could like all the cheese and the booze, and I was like, oh, like whatever room you're in backstage, you see everything that's happening in the ring. So yeah, I was just like, let's go.
Yeah, I think it's best to just like dive into that match because, like I said, Stardom the conversion. Everyone could check it out on Stardom World. You and Micah have this super physical, super like serious, big time world title match. I think it's your best match you've had, just like considering what you two did. And like I said, so much had happened right before that. Do you feel the pressure going into such a match, or for you being in there with someone like Micah, who obviously you are in the same faction with, I'm sure you spend a lot of time with and have been in the ring with a lot. Does that pressure kind of get null and void because of who you're sharing the ring with?
Well, you know what's crazy when that match was coming up, I was like looking back at it the other day actually, and I was looking at how many single matches I've had in my career. Like in Stardom only, I think up to that match with Micah, counting last year's, I probably only had like 8 singles in Stardom. So I was like, and like career-wise, I don't know, career-wise, I'd say like 10, 20 singles before Stardom. So it was like, I'm still green. Like I thought like I need to like really step up my game here. I'm about to like main event. So like I put all the hard work in. I was training. I was studying Micah's matches. I was like joining jiu-jitsu classes, like give me all the techniques, like, So I really prepped myself for that match. And I feel like in a way I needed that match too, because I felt like I was being held back all the time. If that makes sense.
Of course.
Where it's like, if it's a singles match, you can showcase everything you have up your sleeves. So that match is definitely one of my favorite matches. I feel so bad because like Micah, I'm sorry. When she's wearing clothes, I still see the scars on her. I hope they go away eventually.
Yeah, those chops were nasty in that match.
Seeing her chest turn red in real time.
Yeah. I mean, I think everyone should go watch the match that's listening to this, just because, like you said, like you're saying, you still feel green. And I think for a lot of people who have watched you through your Stardom career, especially, that match was like Xena's doing that, right? And you just said what, your 8th singles match or so in Stardom? Like, because I remember in your first tour, you had a singles match with Shuri right before you had you left, and I remember that being like the standout match. Like, oh, Xena needs to get back to Japan, and it's because of the match with Micah. That's like, this is why you needed to get back. So I'm so happy to hear, like that you felt you needed, even though, like we said, kind of poor Micah in the end. She paid for it a little bit. But I think that's the beauty of your style is like you're in a world of Joshi wrestling that's very physical and very it's so exciting with the athleticism, and you're just out there chopping the hell out of these people.
But I love the physicality here.
Yeah.
I love it because you give it and you take it. Like, it's no bullshit here.
Yeah.
You get what you give, pretty much.
Yeah, I think that just kind of brings us into a other opponent of yours who likes to give it right back, and that is, of course, Saida. I think I have to ask about Saida because you two have spent multiple matches together, with tag, singles,
Flash for a few minutes.
Yeah, and you just chop and chop and chop, and I'm just like, that's gotta, I feel bad for both of them, but they just, I could see the, the passion and excitement on your faces.
We look at each other and we're like, let's see who can last the longest, Let's see who goes down first.
Yeah. I think it was May Sarah this past weekend. When you chopped her, I thought the poor girl was going to crumble. I was like, oh, like,
I was so, because it was styled as a high-speed match, so I was like, let me stay away from my chops, but maybe just one.
Yeah,
necessary.
When I was watching through your 5-star, which we'll get into, it was like every match was like, okay, she's gonna bring out one of the chops, and it's just gonna the beauty of your chops is just changes the match, right? It just like flips it on its head. So it's an awesome style that you bring to the ring. And I kind of want to just like dive into your style. Obviously you said you still feel like you're green at times, especially heading into the world title match, but you have in your first match in Stardom in 2023 compared to now, you have completely transformed. Is that something you have going in your head as you continuously compete? Because like you said, you showcased this weekend, you could do high speed. We saw you do an epic world title match that's super physical. Do you feel you're kind of a jack of all trades, or do you have a specific style you're aiming for?
I feel like a lot of people think I'm like a striking style with my chops, and then they actually watch me and they can see I can do like the power stuff, the high speed stuff, but we're still working on the high speed stuff, guys. I was just what's it called, like a practice run for me.
But a good practice run.
I think my first run here, like, it was my first international trip, so I was like so unprepared. I was coming into Stardom like I didn't know anyone. I didn't know how to speak the language. So I think the first trip helped me adapt so much more for my like second trip. I was so much more comfortable with everyone, like the style, the wrestling. I felt comfortable doing what I wanted to do. I think that helped a lot my first 3 months there. And someone that's helped me a lot is my partner DAGA. Because he's traveled everywhere, he knows like the different styles. So sometimes I'd be like watching his matches and I'd like, teach me that. Teach me that. And then we'll actually go in the ring and train. We train like 2-3 hours, like once a week. Yeah. So, like my power slam off the apron, I've taken that off him.
That one's awesome. When you did that in the Micah match, I was like, oh. Like it was like that, like, oh my god, like type thing.
I don't know. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna pay tribute to you. I'll do it.
Yeah. I mean, I was gonna ask you about DAGA. First time you're here, first 3 months tour. When you talk to foreigners who go to Japan, especially for the first time, they could talk about how tours can be somewhat lonely because you're learning a lot. And you're getting used to the roster that you're competing with and so on. So now, you come over here for the second time, full-time run. You've been
Yeah.
with Stardom since February,
Yeah.
yeah. How has, just kind of having DAGA there with you helped you as a whole? Just, kind of having like
We we've
familiarity and
we've both made like Japan our home. Like when we have free days and our schedules
of
don't
course.
clash, we'll go and film content for YouTube and we'll visit places that we
Yes.
haven't seen. So we're always on tourist mode here at the same time. The food's so good here. So like that's something we both like about the food. We're just like, what do we want to try next? And we'll go try it. Or like if we're both free, we'll go watch a wrestling show, because we do know like other wrestlers here and we're friends with them. So we like to go support the sport. So yeah, it's less learning. I can say that.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, okay. What's your favorite food that you've tried there in Japan?
Well, we just ate yakitori. It's like barbecued stuff that they bring to you, but yakiniku, it's like Korean barbecue pretty much.
Okay.
But even the ramen depends on the weather outside.
Yeah. And of course the YouTube channel is D&X that everyone can go check
I
out.
haven't posted. We've got content, but I haven't posted because I've been so busy.
I was gonna say, I think you've both been a little bit busy. I mean, obviously,
Yeah.
DAGA and Noah, you just had the 5-star, so I think it's acceptable,
Yeah.
But
Sometimes
I know.
they'll be like, I want to come watch you. And I'm like, no, I'm too embarrassed. Like if you're on like the audience, like but you'll see sometimes I come out with my entrance and if he's watching, I don't care. If there's a crowd, I'm gonna blow you a kiss.
Everyone's gonna notice that now.
Yeah,
Anytime you do it.
everyone
It's like,
knows.
oh, DAGA's there.
Crowd.
Well, all right. We'll take it back to the beginning kind of for you. You started your career in Australia back in 2018, if I'm correct.
Yeah. There's like
That
not many promotions in Sydney. Like if you look at my cage match or like anything, you'll say like maybe 3 matches in the time like it took me to come to Stardom.
Okay. Yeah, well that's
like I'll probably get a match every 2 or 3 months there. So I was like very green. So I was taking any bookings I could at the time just to like get some reps in. And then as you said, COVID hit before. Yeah. And that stopped like my bag.
Yeah. Like, even if you like look at your cage match, like you said, it's matched sporadically here and there throughout the months, and then COVID comes and it's like
3 years off.
Yeah. And then you find yourself in Stardom.
Right.
So like I need to ask you, how did that come about? That's incredible.
I manifested Stardom. I'll just put that out there to the universe.
Okay. Did you I've read one of your interviews for ResidentMag.com. You talked about Cheerleader Melissa and kind of learning along the way despite COVID, stopping you from competing.
So we couldn't do anything wrestling wise during COVID. So we'll send like me and my friend Jay, he introduced me to her at the time. And would send matches over to her and she'll jump on a FaceTime call and like critique it and like, oh, you should do this, do that. So it was like virtual training. And she's never met me, so she didn't have to go out of her way to do all that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. That's so cool.
So every time everyone's like, oh, like who showed you how to, I'm like, Cheerleader Melissa. Like this lady put her time and day into like showing me what to do in the ring. Besides that, at the time I was trying to do like Ninja Warrior. I tried out for like TV shows. So I was just trying to keep myself busy and sane during COVID. And then I think December is when I got in contact with Stardom to like come over. But I did manifest it. I'll just say that.
I believe it. I mean, you in your first Stardom run in 2023, you debuted in the Cinderella tournament, which is a pretty big deal for those who are listening and kind of learning about Stardom along with this interview. And then, of course, you go on a 3-month run. You're part of Club Venus, and you're working with, of course, Mina Shirakawa, who you're still in a faction with. How has Mina, obviously one of the best in Stardom, best in the world. She's going worldwide. She's very busy these days. How has working with Mina kind of helped you? Because obviously she speaks a good amount of English as well. And, being partnered with her, along the way in your time with Stardom.
I feel like Mina deserves the grand stage because she just comes out. She just comes out and it's all eyes on her. Do you know what I mean? Like she has the look, the charisma. Like she's entertaining. Everyone loves watching her. Like if she's just walking, they're all like staring down, like watching her walk. I always think about Mina because I feel like without Mina, none of us Gaijins would have been here in the first place. Because when they scouted the girls, it was Join Club Venus. So I think like everyone being where they are today, like a big part of it is because of Mina Shirakawa. Yeah, she helped me with my first match. Like she showed me what to do. She showed me how to like work the style. She came with me and like pretty much mentored me the whole time.
That's awesome. That's awesome to hear. I think you're right. Like, she does deserve the grand stage. When she shows up, it's like, okay, here we go.
Yeah.
She's very charismatic, but I think it's great to hear just how much she helped you along the way. Because, I'm sure it can be tough. Again, in that first 3 months, you're learning, you're trying to understand language, but being part of that Club Venus faction, I'm sure just did a lot of good for you in getting you comfortable with Stardom as a whole.
Yeah.
So my next question for you is we've talked about titles earlier on. You of course had the World of Stardom title match with Micah. You just had the high speed match with May Sarah. In the main event of Korakuen Hall. Kind of a big deal for anyone that knows,
Yeah.
Do you feel like, do you have like that pinch me type moment before you head out there? It's like, I'm in the main event of Korakuen. Foreigners don't just get to main event these shows, right? And you are out there doing so in a title match in a new style, by the way. High speed's not easy.
I feel like if I know I've put like 100% into everything that needs to go into the match, I'm always like, I've got my calm. And something I do is like, I listen to like my songs and I play Candy Crush.
That's awesome.
Anyone that sees me, they'll be like, there's something wrong with you. Like, you're never nervous. I remember Anna, she's like, why are you so chill? Like, because I've done everything I need to, like, but like leading up to the match. Like, if I'm nervous, it's just going to psych myself out. But I always have that moment after when I rewatch my match. I'm like, that's badass.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I love that. Yeah. Do you watch back your matches to like learn? Okay, to see what you do and don't do, because I know some wrestlers don't watch their matches.
I do, and I drag DAGA. I'm like, hello, come watch feedback.
Yeah, that's great because you're having second eyes on it, and obviously, like you said, he's been world traveled. He's been here, there, and everywhere. Obviously, he's in Noah now, absolutely crushing it. So, I love to hear that. So let's talk about returning to Stardom for the second run. Join EXV. When you came back, when you left Stardom the first time, did you know you're like, I need to get back there? Because 3-month tours were, that's a usual thing. Yeah. Did you feel I need to get back there? I have so much more to do, or was it? We'll see what happens.
I think it was more after my match with Shuri, because we just started crying in the ring, and I was crying. I was like, don't send me back. I don't want to go back.
That Shuri has special ability, I think, to Shuri's so former UFC fighter, reached the top of Stardom and just done so much. She's very emotional. She gets you. Like she's gotten me multiple times.
That like after we wrestle, like if she touches me, we're both crying. Like if she just like touches me with a finger, I'm crying.
That's amazing. which is funny because when you two step in the ring,
it's like two badasses at the end of the match, we're like hugging and crying.
Yeah, like you say, it's like very much the opposite of like it's like oh here we go, big kicks.
It's just with her.
Yeah,
it's just with Shuri. I've cried.
Do do you have a, obviously you're not in the same group with her, but you've shared the ring. Last match in your first tour, you just had a match with her in the 5-star Grand Prix. Do you just feel like there's a connection when that bell rings? It's just like
It's just
easy
like,
for you?
it's like, I see you see me, let's do this shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. She's a special wrestler, so I love
Yeah,
to hear those
right.
types of stories. Talking about opponents in Stardom, you've wrestled everyone through tags, but it's getting those big singles matches with certain people you haven't had yet. Is there anyone you haven't had one with in Stardom yet that you're like, I need that match?
I think with Saya, heel Saya.
Okay.
I think I've only ever like clashed with her for like a 20-second thing, like in my life.
Yeah. So you want to embrace the Saya Kamatani of hate. You want to see how that feels. I mean, crowds love her, so
yeah, I agree.
it'd be very exciting to watch you two interact. If she hits her like pose thing with the eye, are you just gonna chop her?
Probably.
When was the time that you said I need to chop everyone and hurt them brutally? Because this tour has been awesome for you to do. I mean, it's not a tour, it's full time. But that has been I think the biggest addition to your move set. We talked about it a little bit earlier. Yeah, they do. They get so loud for it.
Okay, I can have a half an hour chopping match. I don't mind.
Yeah, they're loud. I remember the match you and Hazuki had. There was a match you and Hazuki went in there, and she just started chopping you right back the same time. Hazuki doesn't really chop. I was like, oh, I think you've made the wrestler you're fighting with like, oh, I want to do that now.
Hazuki can go though. Like,
yeah,
her chops. I'd put her on like the top 5 of the chops because she always nails me. She gives it back to me.
She's friends with Ida. I feel like you learn along the way, kind of, faction mates with the Ida.
I don't know if it's the overhand chop.
She
gets me with the overhand chop, and it's like the perfect sound. Everything's perfect.
Yeah.
But I like to show people I can do the side chop too sometimes, but I just prefer this one. So I didn't get their face because sometimes the side, like my hand, I don't know if you've noticed, but when I wrestle, I'm like.
I think the overhand chop, like you said, makes better noise. It just looks brutal, and sometimes you just like hit like 10 of them at a time. It's like,
when I watch my chops back, I don't even wind it up. I just from here.
Yeah, it's crazy. They're so loud.
And
like you said.
Okay, today I'm gonna wind it up, and I just end up doing it from here because my hand just like.
That was gonna be my question. Like, how does your hand feel? Like, yeah, the chest of your opponent is not great, but your hand's gotta hurt, right?
I have a photo from like after Micah's match where it's just like blue and purple, and it's like I had to ice it for like an hour because I couldn't feel like my blood running. It was cold.
All worth it though. In the end, that match, right?
I don't know if I've got big hands. Because my man says I've got like the Mickey Mouse white glove hands.
Mickey Mouse.
Because I can't remember, like Waka. I measured my hand with her and it's like half my size. But then Haneko's hand is my size, but Haneko's so much taller than me.
Yeah. I mean, they're effective. That's what matters, right?
Yeah.
Like, it works in the matches, benefits you. I don't know. I'm talking through the screen, so I don't know. But that's fine. The Mickey Mouse thing got me good. So what is your favorite venue to wrestle in Japan? Like when it could just be Korakuen, I wouldn't be shocked. But I saw, that was 2 weeks ago. Shinjuku Face was so loud and it's very intimate, and I know, but I was like, you need to be in there. Imagine the chops, imagine the reactions.
I've gone there to watch a Noah show, and I've always loved like smaller venues where it's like
Yeah.
filled and like it echoes.
Yeah.
That's definitely like, it's a wrestling venue too. It's known for like to put wrestling shows on there. I think KBS because it's so pretty.
Yeah, I love that.
Korakuen when it's full, it's very hot. And
Yeah.
especially like the Sunday show, it was so early, but it had a really good crowd.
Yeah,
So,
it was impressive.
yeah, when we have like the late shows, it's like even better.
Yeah. Do you know, talk about KBS Hall. I love that you said that because so many people praise that venue that, you know, may have not been there, but you're just looking at it, it's like, this is incredible. Does it just feel that way when you're in there? It's like, wow, what a place, and then, you know, what a cool place for wrestling.
It's always so hot in there with the lights and everything's off, but when you get the photos,
yeah,
you look at it like that.
The photos are great, you know, like they always look so cool. So
yeah.
You won your first title in Stardom earlier this year, winning the Art of Stardom title with Micah and Mina Shirakawa. How cool was that for you to win gold in Stardom in your second time around with the company?
It was good, and it was like very unexpected because it was so early as well with my return.
Yeah.
My man traveled as well, maybe 2 hours. You know what a Shinkansen is? Like it's like the bullet train here.
Yep.
To come watch me. So I was like I wanna like just hug you after the match. But it was also against Mirai, which I had like a singles match with in my first Cinderella run. So I always had that respect for Mirai. So winning it off Mirai was like big for me.
Yeah.
Also when it was on her way out. So
you two clicked.
Her to put me over as well at the same time.
Yeah, it was very cool, you know, to see you get that opportunity to not only become champion, but, you know, fight Mirai on her way out. You know, that connection with her. I remember your match from the first Cinderella with her. And that was the first time I think everyone was like, oh, like, because, you know, those Cinderella matches are so quick. They're so, you know, they're very unique as well. I think a lot of people that watch Cinderella matches, you know, with the over the top rope and the short time limit, but that match with Mirai, you two just, like I said, clicked, and it was kind of the first time I feel that you just maybe felt comfortable in there. Did working with her just feel like, again, I brought it up earlier with like someone like Shuri, kind of just easy, like you both got it. Yeah.
Like, I'm not scared to go into a lariat with you because I know you can take it.
Yeah. I personally would be, but
I think she knocked me off. Her and Ida actually always kill me with their lariats on my head.
Yeah, you two just kind of welcome you welcome the challenge, which I think everyone appreciates watching your matches. Talking about your matches, you said that, you know, the one with Mike is one of your favorites. Do you have any other favorite matches that, one, if people listening to this interview getting to know you, they should go check out, and two, that you just absolutely are so proud of in your time, whether it be Stardom or before? Or
I think I'm gonna like give this as an example. Like my match with Anna, like I read some comments and it was like, oh, she's only like giving her a good match because, you know, AEW might be watching. But if they go and watch all my matches, like they'll see I put like 100% in all my matches, and I always try making my opponents like look good and like, especially with like someone like Anna, like making her enjoy the experience and getting as much in as she can.
Of course.
And I have like a match with Brian this coming weekend.
Yep.
Like I'm gonna give Brian a good match. I'm gonna make her look badass, you know.
Yeah, I love that mindset. You know, for you, it's about helping your opponent. I think that's awesome. I mean, your match with Anna Jay, I think everyone should go check that out. I think you two just, again, clicked. It's kind of been the theme of the show, right? You clicking with your opponents, but you two worked really well together. And I think it kind of opened eyes in terms of, for her because she didn't have a long run in
Yeah.
Stardom, but she clearly I think benefited from wrestling with you and Shuri and
Mm.
Sayori and Starlight Kid and so on. So yeah, everyone should go check that out from the 5-star Grand Prix. Let's talk about that 5-star Grand Prix. 6 matches, 15 days, 6 tournament matches specifically. So this is a grueling tournament. You have it felt like there was a Stardom show every day in the month of August, just as a viewer, because I was like, okay, gotta
They gave
watch
us
this.
a few days off because the schedule was so hectic.
Mm-hmm.
So if we weren't booked, it was like, you can have the day off. It's okay, rest. I was like, oh, yeah, thank you.
Yeah, so that kind of like, how do you prepare for a tournament like that mentally, like physically? Is it just because it's you wrestle every week, of
Mm.
course, but there's something about the added value, the added intrigue and excitement and pressure, I think, of a tournament match, and especially the 5-star Grand Prix, which is the biggest women's wrestling tournament in the world. Did you feel pressure going into your first one, or was it more of just again
Getting ready for every singles that was coming up for me. I think
yeah.
I always like if I haven't prepped myself towards the match, the pressure would be like eating me alive.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But it was like, I remember my favorite reaction was me seeing I was like main eventing with Sorry. I was like, shoot. I was like, a cutter. You trust me?
You've main evented a lot over the past couple months. I
I mean,
think the
that means you
trust
trust
is clear.
to put on
Yeah.
a good match for everyone, I guess.
Yeah, which is great, obviously. Like there's a lot of
Yeah.
trust there, there's a lot of belief. Um how is the physical toll throughout? Because you're like I said, you're wrestling the likes of Starlight Kid, Sayoriano, uh Shuri. It's not an easy tournament. Do you feel like do you welcome the new challenges every day of the opponents and
Like
is
my
it
body, are we talking? How my body handles it?
yeah, like just your body, like it's a lot. And I feel like tournaments, everyone's taped up by the end, this
Right.
is
That's what
yeah,
I was thinking. But I've only been here like full time, not even a year yet. So I'm
yeah,
too like to be speaking on the body parts. Because I exercise and I eat good and like
of
I get,
course.
so I don't think it takes a toll on my body, but I do
Okay.
see all taped up. So
Yeah.
I think because I'm so new at it still, my
Mhm.
body might still be fresh with the
Sure.
body,
I mean,
maybe.
we'll take it. I mean, like it's a rough like I forget who's
Like I'll get
Micah's
soreness.
always taped. Like Mike,
Oh,
I feel so bad for Micah because like
yeah,
she's
she's
always
been
really
taped since
taped
I've
up.
been here. I'm like, what's wrong? I'm like, okay.
But she keeps going out there, so
Yeah.
she's good to go. And then let me ask you this: what was your favorite match of your first run in the 5-star?
Me and Mariah. Oh, me and Shuri. Me and Mariah and me and versus Shuri.
Okay, okay, no, that clicks, yeah, and did you feel proud of what you accomplished within the 5-star this year?
Yeah.
Like I said, 6 tournament matches, a strong record. So it's good to hear that you were, kind of proud of what you put out there. And being in 2 Cinderellas now as well, you're checking all the boxes. Who do you want to team with in tag league?
Micah.
Yeah, yeah. That makes sense.
She got semi matching gear with me with her new red pants. She has the
Mhm.
crisscross, so I've got the crisscross too.
Yeah, yeah, it's very similar. I like it. Obviously, Micah won the Goddess Tag League last year, so you do have to run it back now. You go run it back, go win some tag belts, of course.
But even
Like I
like even Waka would be like entertaining with me.
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah.
you and Waka, like, you guys are very fun in there. Like,
Yeah.
it's very fun trade-off because Waka's very good at just, like,
I just pick
being
her up
comedic.
and throw her at the promo.
I think Lady C used to do that with her. I think she used to swing Waka into people. Like, she would do the swing.
I have a move with Waka where I pick her up from a Casey Dora but sometimes Waka doesn't run into it. Like, so it's just me picking her wrong. And then she'll be like to me, Xena, it was all you. And I'm like, I know.
That's amazing. All right. Well,
Waka also helps me a lot. She speaks English.
Yes, of course.
Yeah.
I was gonna. That was like one of my last questions here. Like, who has helped you learn just within Stardom along the way? We talked about Mina. We talked now Waka. Do you just feel you learn whether it's teaming with your fellow stablemates or standing across the ring from the Shuris and the Saikamatani's and we want more of the Saikamatani match, obviously. The Idas, like, do you learn as well from them? Do they help you as well in there? Just because I think you two, putting together a match, right? You're learning together about each other. So like
I think sometimes it's just like, what do you do and how can I get out of it? And then we come up with random shit.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I like that. I like that better than just like, what is the best thing you do? Okay, this is what I do. Let's just go out there and do
it. Work. I will say, like, sometimes I don't watch wrestling that much, so I don't like steal ideas or anything. Like the only time I steal is from my man, because like no one's seen me do this stuff. So a lot of the times it'll be like how can we do this? How can we both end up here?
Yeah.
So I have to sit in the ring to do it, so I can picture me like running as a ghost and.
I like that. Speaking about DAGA one more time, I had to ask this. Dream tag team match. You and DAGA versus who?
Someone asked him this and he's like, let me ask her and get back to you. So I asked him at home. I was like, so who was it? He's like, I don't know. And I was like, I don't know too. How about when he comes home, we make a tweet about it?
All right. Everyone has to look out for that. Everyone needs to see what the dream tag match is. That's funny though. I mean, it's obviously hard because you both work for different companies, so it's like you gotta piece it together what makes the most sense. So I guess that's fair. And my final two questions. You talked about the chops and how much the fans in Japan love it. How has the fan support in Japan been for you? Because I think a lot of foreigners, you guys gain so much fandom and these crowds love you guys. And how has that been for you, whether it be, in the venues or on social media?
I think social media, it's very good. Like they interact with me on social media. When it's like fan event signings, I think they're a bit scared of us. I don't know if it's a language barrier, if they can't speak to us, or if they're just like, but I'll have Waka next to me, so the fans that do come to me, I'll be like, Waka, please translate for us so we can have a conversation.
Yeah.
I think that plays a factor, but wrestling in front of the Japanese crowd is like my absolute favorite. Like they're so respectful. They cheer when they need to. It's just a different ball game here with the wrestling crowd.
Yeah, I think a lot of wrestlers who go to Japan, they just there's something so cool about feeling that respectfulness, and then they get so into it as well. It's there's nothing like it. There's nothing like a Japanese crowd. So I love to hear that from you. But my final question for you before we wrap this up: moving forward, you've won the artist belts, you've been in the 5-star Grand Prix, you've been in the Cinderella. What are your goals moving forward in wrestling, whether it be Stardom, wrestling as a whole? What are your top goals as you move forward here in your career?
Here in my career, I think Stardom's going to be my home for a while. I really enjoy it, and I'm learning so much being in here. I think my personal goal would be to hold a singles title in Stardom, though.
Okay. I like that. And you'll take any title, high speed, world, wonder. I think, in the history of Stardom, foreigners, they've held those top belts. So
yeah,
I think the more you stay, the more likely it is you're taking one of those. And I like your mind. I like your mindset. I'll take any of them. It doesn't matter which one. I'll take one of them.
My homework.
And you've shown, like, we talked about through the interview, you've done the world title match, you've done the high speed match. It can be any of them. Next is Wonder.
Speed?
High speed?
Was it high speed?
Yeah, high speed. Why not?
My next match will be even higher speed.
Yeah.
That was a test run for me.
I guess, yeah. I mean, you step in there with like an Azumi or Starlight Kid or again May Sarah. You guys just go now. It's like you have the high speed experience. It's fine. Just step in there, be like nothing. Which again, great job. But high speed looks so difficult because you guys are going.
No idea.
I don't. It's true. You talk about how you put.
I go like 3 bottles of water.
Like you're talking about putting matches together. What do you do? I do all of these things. I feel like that's what like you and May Sarah, you guys killed it in the main event of Korakuen. So
you want to speak on the mic? No, I cannot breathe. I need to go drink.
I guess I do have to ask that. What was more tiring, the high speed match that it was shorter in time, or the world title match where you and Micah, again destroyed each other for 20 minutes?
The high speed match was way more exhausting, but I think the title match was more like what's it called? Like on the body exhausting.
Yeah, I can believe that. Well, thank you so much for taking your time out of your day to do this interview. I greatly appreciate it. Where can everyone find you, whether it be social media, your YouTube channel, so that they can follow along with everything you have going on?
DNX on YouTube. I think Instagram is Xena Pro.
Okay.
And then my Twitter, Xena.
I'll check. I think I can check for you right now. It's at Stardom _Xena.
I changed that. Okay, yes.
Because I was double checking before we had our conversation. I was like, did she? Oh, she changed her at. Okay, I didn't. Yeah. Once you said it like way back, it's like, right. Every other app doesn't let you change it, but Twitter does. But thank you so much, Xena. Oh, just smashed my microphone. Everyone, I appreciate it. Everyone could check out Xena on Stardom World. That's where all her Stardom matches are posted. And then this coming weekend is Namba Grand Fight 2024, where Xena will be taking on Rian, as well as Micah challenging Tan Nakano for the World of Stardom Championship, and Natsupoi defending the Wonder of Stardom title against Suzuki. So everyone go check that out. That'll be available on pay-per-view. Once again, Xena, thank you so much. For Fightful, I'm Scott, and we are signing off. So long, everybody.
Bye.
There's no sponsor that I use more while I'm awake than NordVPN.com/Fightful. Man, this is like the Swiss Army knife, the multi-tool of applications. It does a little bit of everything. You always get a great deal at NordVPN.com/Fightful. You can listen to your favorites abroad. You can shield your data from snoops and criminals, protect yourself on public Wi-Fi, and it works on all your devices and operating systems. It doesn't end there. Change your virtual location and then get pay-per-views at a much more affordable price, TV services at a much more affordable price. You got a password manager, a file encryption tool, threat protections, and on top of that, 24/7 tech support. So if for some reason you don't know exactly how it works, NordVPN.com/Fightful will help you learn how to do it. Check it out, NordVPN.com/Fightful.